Sonavane sir to join. Once Sonavane sir joins, I will start. Good morning, Mishra sir. I welcome all you on behalf of all the viewers to this live session, and I request you to give the welcome address for this today's events. I request Trilokanath Mishra sir. Mishra sir is, you all know, he is a chairman of the Society of Indian Radiographers. I request Mishra sir to give a welcome address.
Namaste Bharat. Good morning India. Welcome friends. Welcome on the Facebook live interview show. The very first of its own kind. दोस्तों, सोसाइटी ऑफ इंडियन रेडियोग्राफर्स द्वारा आयोजित इस फेसबुक लाइव इंटरव्यू शो में
ओके, कंटिन्यू सर।
मैं त्रिलोकी मिश्रा सोसाइटी ऑफ इंडियन रेडियोग्राफर्स के चेयरमैन की हैसियत से इस फेसबुक लाइव इंटरव्यू शो में मास्टरमाइंड आज के होस्ट और सोसाइटी ऑफ इंडियन रेडियोग्राफर्स के नेशनल कोऑर्डिनेटर शंकर भगत के साथ आप सभी का यहां पर हार्दिक स्वागत करता हूं। डियर फ्रेंड्स, ऑन बोर्ड आई कैन सी के दामोदर नायडू, प्रेसिडेंट SIR, P रामचंद्र रेड्डी, सेक्रेटरी जनरल SIR, श्रीनिवासुलु सिरंदास, वर्किंग जनरल सेक्रेटरी, वेंकट रमनप्पा, the treasurer SIR. Dear friends, we also have Mrs. Nandita Mane, the chief of Society of Indian Radiographers, female wing. I can see the names. We have Raj Ahmed Unchalkar, President Radiographers Association of Maharashtra, Santosh Kelsikar, Secretary Ram, Rajendra Poddar, Rana Randhir Kumar, Anup Nade, Prabhakar Kumar, Nandalal Hire. President Ram, Mumbai Unit, Prahlad Satardekar, along with his secretary Shanmugam Naidu. He is also on the board. दोस्तों, कहते हैं समुंदर में पानी भले ही अपार है, पर सच तो यही है कि ये कई नदियों का उधार है। आदरणीय श्री सुभाष बंसोड़े जी, श्री सुनील चौहान जी, श्री विलास बदाने जी, श्री जगदीश जगताप जी, श्री मनीष जाधव जी, ये वो नाम है जिनका पानी उधार लेकर आज सोसाइटी ऑफ इंडियन रेडियोग्राफर्स और रेडियोग्राफर्स एसोसिएशन ऑफ महाराष्ट्र फल फूल रहा है। मैं पूरे आदर से इन सभी महानुभावों को आज के इस बोर्ड पर आमंत्रित करता हूं। I can also see them to be the pillars of Ram. Deepak Wani, Manish Joshi, Rajendra Joshi, Ratan Ahire, Ravi Sawant, Sandeep Ghogre and Sunil Patil. चलिए दोस्तों, जैसे जैसे आप सभी जुड़ते रहेंगे, आप सभी से हम परिचय कराते रहेंगे, परंतु अब समय हो चला है आप सबसे आज के इस शो के हीरो का परिचय कराना। So friends, presenting the face of AERB for radiographers, the hero of today's show, Dr. Avinash U. Sonavane, Head Directorate of Regulatory Affairs and Communications and Secretary to the Board of Atomic Energy Regulatory Board, Mumbai. दोस्तों, कई बार ऐसा होता है कि हमारे कई रेडियोग्राफर्स आज के इस के अवसर पर यूं भी हमसे कई सवाल पूछते रहते हैं। हम लोग अपनी नॉलेज और अपने अनुभव के अनुसार उनका उत्तर देते रहते हैं। लेकिन हमें ऐसा लगा कि आज ये अवसर है कोविड-19 की वजह से कि हमारे जो रेडियोग्राफर्स बंधु हैं उनके दिमाग में जो सवाल हैं उसका निराकरण सीधे सीधे AERB के हेड से कराया जाए और इसीलिए आज सोसाइटी ऑफ इंडियन रेडियोग्राफर्स के आमंत्रण पर आज इस फेसबुक लाइव इंटरव्यू शो में आपके बीच डॉक्टर AU सोनावने पधारे हैं। आज का विषय है रेडिएशन प्रोटेक्शन एंड सेफ्टी इन डायग्नोस्टिक रेडियोलॉजी डिपार्टमेंट। दोस्तों हम लोग आज इस 1 घंटे के सेशन में बहुत सारी चीजें कवर करने की कोशिश करेंगे। कुछ रह जाता है तो आने वाले दिनों में फिर एक सेशन लगाया जा सकता है, लेकिन मैं आप सभी से रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि आज सोनावने सर के अनुभव का, उनके नॉलेज का हम पूरा यहाँ पर फायदा ले 1 घंटे में। जब ये इंटरव्यू चल रहा होगा, ये शो चल रहा होगा, तभी आपको अपने मन में उठे सवालों को कमेंट बॉक्स में भेजना है ताकि हम उसे ऑनलाइन देखकर उसको रेगुलराइज करते रहें। ध्यान रखिए दोस्तों, अनवांटेड क्वेश्चंस ना हो, रिपीटेड क्वेश्चंस ना हो, नॉन रिलेटेड क्वेश्चंस ना हो, and please mind to have no personal discussions on this platform। एक बार फिर आप सभी की जोरदार तालियों के बीच मैं आमंत्रित करता हूं आज के इस फेसबुक लाइव इंटरव्यू डॉक्टर अविनाश यू सोनावने जी का।
For giving a welcome address, and I request Sonavane sir to give a keynote address to all the audiences. Dr. Sonavane sir, you can address.
Yeah. So you can hear me now.
Yes sir, yes.
Yeah. So first of all, a very good morning to all the the important, the key personnel in diagnostic radiology, that is the X-ray technologists. We call it as a medical radiography personnel. So good morning to all. Shubha Prabha. First of all, I hearty congratulations to the Society of Indian Radiographers for organizing this live event during such a widespread pandemic in the country as well as all over the world. You all know that the corona spread has been labeled by the World Health Organization as a pandemic, and this disease has a very bad or worst effect on the respiratory system, the throat, as well as it even leads to the fever. Many such symptoms are there. I will not go into details. But the diagnosis of this virus requires X-ray examination, whether it is of a lung, chest, and because we have to find the infection only through the X-ray radiograph. And as a result, several X-ray equipments are very busy during this pandemic. There is a huge workload on X-ray departments.
By sir, these questions are general questions. आप सभी लोगों को मालूम है जो रेडियोग्राफी फील्ड में आप काम करते हो, जो रोजमर्रा में जो आपको क्वेश्चंस आते रहते हैं, उसी क्वेश्चंस को हम लोगों ने कवर किया हुआ है। इसको हम लोग इंग्लिश और हिंदी दोनों भाषा में आंसर देने के लिए सर से मैं रिक्वेस्ट करता हूँ. And you can also post your questions in the comment box so that we can add these questions also. So first I ask first question to the sir is Dr. Sonawne sir, what is the qualification and work profile of a radiological technologist as per the AERB guidelines?
Yes, Mr. Bhagat, this is an important question. The qualification of the X-ray technologist is prescribed in the Safety Code on Diagnostic X-rays published by the Atomic Energy Regulatory Board. This code gives, in addition to the qualification, even lot of information or requirements on radiation protection. As far as the question is concerned, the ARB Safety Code uses the terminology as X-ray technology, or it is radiographic technology, and some requirements it is called as an operator. And the qualification for this is that 10 plus 2 standard, of course science standard, and any training course in diagnostic radiology recognized by the institution or university. Now, ARB Safety Code doesn't give the duration of the course, because we are working on that. There are several institutions conducting such a course, and duration varies from 1 year to 2 years to 3 years. So the qualification as per ARB is 10 plus 2 science with the training course in diagnostic radiology recognized by any institution or university. Yes.
Sonawne sir,
Huh.
your voice is breaking, I think. Can you remove the earphones and directly we can
Okay.
discuss on mobile?
Okay.
So many people are telling that they are unable to hear. So we can try on direct without using headphones.
Is it okay now?
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is now loud.
Yeah, but still that echo is there. Anyway,
Okay.
we'll manage. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And what is the work profile of a radiological technologist as per the AERB guidelines, sir?
Yeah, the work profile of, or I will say that the important responsibilities of the technologist is that, so whenever he joins the hospital or it's a clinic or diagnostic center, then he should give his previous details of the work to the institution, like, where he was working, then what type of diagnostic equipment he was operating, and what is his radiation dose which is received in the previous employment. This he must inform. And then once he joins, he should get familiar with the operation of all the operation equipment which are there in the hospital. It can be apnea, it can be mammography machine, bone lithography machine. So he should be aware of the operations of such equipment, and he should be aware of the safety features and the important features of the machine. So this is very important. Then third thing is that he must use a protective clothing against the radiation. And protective clothing is nothing but lead apron. Similarly, we have that important mobile protective barrier is must between the X-ray tube and the control console. So he must have the mobile protective barrier of adequate lead equivalence thickness, that is 1.5 millimeter. You should have a lead apron. Then you should have various sort of protective clothing has to be there as such, like a thyroid shields, donor shields. Then if you is working in the cath lab, then you should have a ceiling suspended lead glass. Then if it is in fluoroscopy, you should have lead flaps. So several radiation protection accessories are there. So he must ensure that all protection accessories are in place and they are properly maintained. Another
Okay,
is
sir. Thank you.
that he must use a TLD badge. Then in case of any accidental exposure or any misuse of TLD or inadvertent use of TLD, he must inform to RSO. if there is a, let us say, female worker in the radiography department, then there should be a separate, some sort of a working conditions should be there. So these all are listed in the ARB safety code. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Is it necessary to revise these qualifications of radiological technologist as per the rapid technological changes taken place in the field of diagnostic radiology in last 2-3 decades? And now radiographers are using very advanced and computerized equipment for doing X-ray, CT scans, mammography, and cath labs, etc. These qualifications mentioned by AERB, all radiographers are thinking that it is a very below level. So what is your
No, in
opinion,
fact,
sir?
I agree with you. But if you see earlier, it was a qualification. A qualification of X-ray technologies is evolving in the country. Earlier, it was just some X-ray technology course. There was no minimum qualification. Now it is 10+2. And what we are saying is since the advanced radiological equipments are coming in the market, so there is definitely the need. But what I feel 10+2 is a adequate qualification because there is a enough syllabus on the science, mainly the modern physics and science, the 12th standard, and then duration of such a course to be increased, like 2 years or 3 years as such. Today, if you see the qualification 10+2, but duration is varying, even from 1 year to, let us say, 3 years, 4 years. So let the qualification be 10+2 because this has also been, in fact, considered by the Ministry of Health in their one of the handbook that qualification for all the technologies in a radiology department is like a nuclear medicine technologies, radiography technologies, X-ray technologies is a 10+2, and duration has to be changed to incorporate the changes in the advanced technology in radiology. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, please.
Another question is there, is AERB can issue any registration certificate or license or registration number to radiological technologist as a radiation professional?
No, in fact, radiation profession number is allocated to the radiation worker, and who is nothing but who works with radiation. It includes the medical practitioners, like of course the radiologists, cardiologists, orthopedicians, surgeons. Similarly, the nuclear medicine physicians, oncologists, and this one as such. And radiation professional number is very important for the radiation safety officer, who will be designated by the employer. So at present, that registration, professional registration number is given to the persons who are, going to the RSO as well as the recognized medical practitioners. As far as the X-ray technologists are concerned, that registration number is not given unless he is nominated for RSO. So at present, it is not there.
Hello?
But when some X-ray technologist is nominated for RSO, then we ask him that he should have a professional registration number, radiation registration, that we give it based on the satisfying the requirements of it. If I have to give an example, for example, CT scan sample, where RSO is to be designated, then this RSO, if he applies, then first he has to get registration under ARB, professional radiation professional number, and then he is considered as RSO. But for which the qualification is totally different. That is to have a 2 years experience in the CT scan. It's not a plain, some sort of qualification like this.
Okay, sir.
So your yeah.
Yes, sir. If we want to drive a car, or if after purchasing a car, we should register it in RTO. Like that, we register our X-ray equipments and CT scan equipment and get a license to operate this equipment. Like that, for any vehicle, the driver should have a license. Such type of license, all radiographers, as a radiographers are interested to get that license to operate the equipments. So we request AERB to provide license to all operators.
You see, Mr. Bhagat, I agree with your, the way you have given the examples. But here what happens now, even AERB doesn't certify even the radiotherapy technologies who handles millions of electron volt beam, who handles thousands of periods of activity. Then nuclear medicine technologies who administers the radiopharmaceuticals to the patient. and even the X-ray technology. So we are not so far giving some license to such a person, even not even to the other medical practitioners, but doesn't do the license, except radiation safety.
Okay, sir. In future, you can think on this issue, sir.
Yes, it's a suggestion. As I said, we will take this suggestion and work out it. And we have to first streamline the training course for X-ray technologies as far as the duration is concerned, as far as the syllabus is concerned. ARB will definitely prescribe the syllabus on radiation protection and safety, and plus operational safety aspects. But this needs some sort of interministerial coordination, like Ministry of ARB, then professional associations. We will work on that together.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you. Sir, next question will be if a radiographer works in any radiology department like X-ray, CT, mammography, or IR equipment, what type of radiation protection accessories he can ask from the hospital or diagnostic center management?
Yeah, you see, as I said, the first accessory he should ask. It is not accessory. I will say it is an important equipment of radiation protection. Is a mobile protective barrier. So mobile protective barrier or fixed protective barrier with a lead glass viewing window thickness of 1.5 mm has to be there, because he operates the X-ray equipment by standing behind this mobile protective barrier, and it ensures the radiation protection from the X-rays emitted directly from the X-ray machine, leakage radiation level from the tube, and scattered radiation from the patient. So this all gets attenuated in the mobile protective barrier. This is very important. Mobile protective barrier is number one. Number two comes then lead apron, because several times the X-ray technologist has to hold the patient whenever it is required. He should have a lead apron of appropriate techniques and properly maintained. And if there is a pregnant radiographer, then she should have a customized lead apron which can extend up to beyond the mid thigh, and you can adequately wrap the pelvis to protect them. Then there should be a protective lead glass into the CT room. If it is a CT room, then the control room has to be there. Again, it is 1.5 mm thickness, because when the CT machine is on, a similar type of radiation, scatter radiation, it will be absorbed by that lead giving glass. Same thing is there about the cath lab, where the interventional procedures are carried out. There should be a ceiling suspended protective glass has to be there of 0.5 mm. Then post hanging protective straps has to be there. Similarly, that lead equivalent protective cloth has to be there. Thyroid shield has to be there. Then gonal shield also has to be there. So this all protective clothing is very important for all the staff, the radiologists. And what I observe is that even though this is available, its quality has to be ensured. I mean, it should be properly maintained. So these are the important radiation protection accessories. And of course, the TLD has to be there, because TLD is not a protective accessory. Because I have seen several radiology staff or technologists feel that TLD is protective for radiation. No, it is a measurement. So TLD also has to wear that, see that how much radiation we have received. So these are the important protective accessories the technologists or other staff should have. Yes, please. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. One question I received just now, that know about their radiation dose while working on radiology department. Can you audible, sir?
Yes, sir. Now I am okay. Please.
Okay, sir. Can I repeat the question?
Please. Sorry, I missed the question. Yeah.
Okay. How will radiographer know that radiation dose he has received while working in radiology department?
Yes, Mr. Shankar, is a very important question, because we all finally work with radiation, which is very beneficial to us. It improves the quality of the patient, quality of the life of the patient. And during all this struggle, all these responsible duties performed by the X-ray technologist, and again, all radiology department, we must know that what is the dose which is received during the operation of the X-ray equipment. And this is, I think, the first thing the the technology should ask his employer or ask the head of the Department of Radiology or employee that he must know that. Now, how he will come to know? Because it is provided by the accredited person monitoring lab. So, which supplies the TLD badge. For example, in the southern part of the country, Aventech supplies the TLD badge. At the same time, it is the responsibility of this accreditation lab to provide the doses received by each employee, each radiation worker in the department. So they should ask the RSO. RSO has a record which he receives from the accredited lab. There are three accredited labs like Aventech, and Ultratech, which are providing the TLD badges for all the radiation professionals in the country. And while providing the TLD badge, it is their responsibility that at the end of the monitoring period, we give those records to all the staff which is in the department. So we should ask that to RSO. And it is, I think, it is the fundamental right of radiation professionals to know the radiation dose they receive during the working days. And it is a quarterly basis dose report, like January to March. So in April, January to March, we must ask them how much they have received. And generally it is a very low dose, but we must know. So ask the RSO, ask the
Okay, sir.
comment for this, and then and even accredited labs also, we can ask if they have.
Sonawne sir.
Yes.
People are telling that your voice is breaking again. So can we try with the headphone?
But if I
So
do
many
headphone,
people are,
there is a echo.
Acha.
Okay. Okay, I will again. 1 minute. I will.
1 second, we can try, sir.
Okay. Echo. Is it okay?
Yes, sir. We
Yeah.
can try now.
Okay.
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you.
With reference to this, I want to ask one question, sir. Due to COVID-19, many technologists or hospitals did not got this TLD batches for this batch from March to May, April to June. So, what is your advice to them?
You see, it is very important that TLD batch must be there when we operate the X-ray equipment. And because of some technical errors or some delay from the accredited lab, we have not received. I think my voice is becoming more disturbing for me itself.
Okay, sir.
So, because of the technical errors, if the TLD badges could not be received, then it is not that we can stop the operation of the X-ray equipment. Is it okay? Okay.
Hello.
Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Can you hear? You see,
Yes, sir. Yes.
Mr. Bhagat, it's a very important, that question you have said, that if TLD badge is not available and we have to treat the patient during COVID-19 and then during COVID-19 situation, and what to go about on that. First of all, here, the important is the benefit and risk. See, when I take the X-ray examination of a COVID patient, it is helpful in diagnosing his, chest condition or lung condition as such. So benefits are more to the patient, to the society. Okay, so we may have to little bit optimize or compromise in TLD wearing, because wearing of the TLD badge is must. But in such a situation, if TLD badge is not received because of some reasons, then we have to see that the radiation safety officer provides a proper work procedures. He uses the protective clothing. He uses the mobile protective barrier. He is not involved in handling of the patient. And he always operates from the control console. And then already the door of the X-ray is having a 1.7 mm thickness door as such. So if we ensure this safety and let the RSO maintain this record that TLD was not available. However, because of the beneficial examinations for the patient, these operators were carrying out the X-ray operations without TLD badge, then their previous dose record also can be compared of the monitoring period, and same work procedure should continue. As you said, January to March, for example, they have not received. But then if I have October to December dose record, where I find that it is definitely the less than 1 millisievert, and then accordingly the same work procedure should continue, but he should maintain the record and simultaneously try to expedite the obtaining the TLDs from the accredited lab. So finally it is optimization, and finally it is again in the, because finally we all are working for the benefit of the society.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, and another thing, whatever the risk, let us say for example, the risk here to the X-ray technologies because of not wearing TLD, and risk because he is not taking the X-ray of the patient. So you have to compare. So we should see that the benefits always outweigh the risk which is associated with radiation. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you. One question I received from Mr. Ashok Valmiki. He is asking that how many or any radiological procedures which radiographer can take in a day or in a week?
Yeah. This is also very key question. Because if you take the number of X-ray examinations, let us say even during pandemic, so hundreds of X-ray examinations of chest or lung on the X-rays, on ultrasound, on the CTs are carried out. While in case of some hospitals where that number may be just 10, 20, 50. So this all is called, the number of X-ray examinations is called as some sort of a workload in the radiology department. And how maximum the workload should be there, or how many X-ray examinations can be carried out, or how many CT scan can be carried out in a day or in a week or in a month, or how many interventional guided procedures can be carried out during a specific period, is nowhere mentioned. Not only in our country, but even worldwide. This data is not here. What is important is that we should see that the weekly dose limit of, let us say, 40 mR per week, or 0.4 microsievert per week should not exceed. Now, how to ensure that this should not exceed? Because you do not have, many X-ray equipment do not have the proper radiation surveymeter. They cannot measure it also. Then how to go about of that? So what you have to do is, that is what, as you said, in the X-ray radiography training courses, there should be a section on how to calculate the workload. And this workload should be such that the weekly dose limit of the X-ray technologist or of the radiologist or interventionalist, that is 40 mR per week, should not exceed. So as per the norms, the weekly dose limit is given, but number of workload, the number of X-ray examinations which can be given is not given. And calculating the workload is very simple. In one of your event in Jaipur, I had informed to the all radiology staff about this. You have to have a very good record that how many, for example, the chest examination has been carried out. Then how many exposures have been carried out, where anterior, posterior, lateral or so. Then what type of MAC he has used, and how many patients per week are there. So if you take all this calculation, you get the workload in MAS per week. That is milliampere second per week. And this MAS per week can be easily used for calculating the permissible, or you can say that the permittable weekly dose to the radiographer. And to my experience, that even though he takes, let us say, hundreds of X-rays in a week or so, so it is very unlikely that his weekly limit will exceed. Because if you take the profile of the doses received by the X-ray technologist all over the country, so it is a fraction of the annual dose limit. That is nothing but the 20 millisievert in a year. It comes just 0.5 millisievert, 0.7 millisievert. So it is very unlikely that the dose limit will exceed. The important thing is that we must optimize the protection. That is, use the protective accessories, as I said, like a protective barrier, lead aprons, then proper some sort of other accessories, TLD badge. He should use it, and I'm sure it will not exceed the weekly limit as per the past experience so far. So there is no limit on how many X-rays he can take. Protection is important. So that is that technologist has to always keep it in mind. Finally, he protects the patients from the disease. He should also get protected by himself by adhering to such a procedures. So there is no limit on maximum how many he can take as such. And another thing, Mr. Bhagat, that you see,
Yes, sir.
general X-ray, if you take mammography or general fluoroscopy, so here there is no any feature in the machine which gives how much dose is there delivered by the machine.
Okay.
But this is there in the cath labs. Cath lab or CT scan gives how much dose is there. So from that you can make out. But that dose is to the patient, and we can calculate how much it is scattered. So no workload, nothing to be worried about, that I am taking so many, let us say hundreds of X-rays, then, or let us say even 300 X equipments in a week, X examination in a week, whether it will have a bad effect on me. If the safety procedures are followed, the radiation protection accessories are used, and the X-ray tube is operated as per its, permitted wattage, it can go. So nothing to be worried as such. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
So next question is related to many of our colleagues. Those are hello.
Yeah, I can. I
Hello.
am hearing. Yeah, I am hearing.
Yes, sir.
Hmm.
Okay, sir. Next question is this question is asked by many of our colleague female radiographers. Nowadays, in radiology, so many female radiographers are working. Earlier,
Yes.
there are only male radiographers, and
Good.
nowadays,
It is very.
more than 50% are female radiographers. Their main
Yeah.
question will be that during pregnancy, are they are allowed to work in radiology? Means, or they can do X-ray, mammography, or CT scan, or IR department, or can work in IR department, or they have to be kept away from the department. What are the ARB proper means guidelines on this?
Yes, Mr. Bhagat. It is first of all very encouraging that female staff is now getting engaged in the radiology department, whether as a radiologist, whether as a X-ray technologist, the nurses. Now, on X-ray radiography for female work to continue the work in the radiology department, they are not only ARB, but they are even international guidelines are there. So the pregnant woman or a woman on knowing that she is becoming pregnant, she should immediately inform to the department that yes, this is the case, I may be pregnant. And once she informs, then the head of the department will have to modify her working conditions. How to work? What are the working conditions for a pregnant woman? Because since pregnant woman is firstly normally the gestation period in the human being is of the order of 37 weeks, and the first 3 weeks are very important for them because they are highly we call that fast developing cells are there, so they are very sensitive. We call it as a conceptus or fetus is very sensitive, and once she becomes pregnant, means what, she carries a member of the public, and then he has to be protected as per the dose of 1 millisievert in a year, not 20 millisievert in a year. So what we have to do is that once she informs that she is pregnant, then her working conditions to be modified. She should not be unnecessarily discriminated. There should be reasonable assurance that the fetus dose is less than 1 millisievert. Number two is that working condition in the sense, suppose she can work from, let us say, for example, the earlier she was in, as you said, intervention guided procedures, she was in what, like in cath labs. Then she should be taken from cath lab to maybe the CT scan, then to the general radiography, then to the mammography, where the doses are less or the radiological risk is low while operating this. This is very important. Since working conditions modified means she should be moved from the high dose risk radiological equipment to low dose risk equipment like a bone densitometer. And she should continue working in the radiology department subject to this, that the dose to the conceptors does not exceed 1 milliliter. Then she should have special protective clothing, like as I said, the customized load apron, which extends beyond the mid-thigh portion, and it should be properly wrapped around the pelvis in such a way that the conceptus is protected. And if this is done, then definitely she can work in radiology department. She can continue that as such. So no discrimination. Because I would like to inform that whatever the some sort of I will say that harmful effects or deleterious effects on the features are observed that are above 50 millisievert, while the dose of the craniotomy is 1 millisievert, what we are restricting. So the RSO and the employer has to properly modify the working condition. As I said, from the high dose risk radiological equipment like a cath labs to the low dose risk like bone zero mammography, and she can work in such a department.
So now, sir,
Yeah.
many people are complaining that sound is giving echo. So now, sir.
So I have tried. I am removing the again
Yes,
because I really feel that you
Sir.
are asking very important questions and sound is having the problem. So
Yeah.
should I
So it's
remove it
better
again?
we should not use the
Okay, I will again remove.
without headphone only. Yes.
Yes, I removed it and now let me see again.
Now we'll check what is the people's comments. Okay.
Yeah.
You can continue, sir.
So, as I said, once on becoming the pregnant, that she should declare, and then there should not be unnecessary discrimination that remove from the X-ray department and put it somewhere and say it should not be like that, and there should be reasonable assurance that the fetus dose is always below 1 milligram. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir. One more important question. Hello.
Yeah, please. I am hearing.
Can you audible, sir? Yes, sir.
Yes, I am. Yes,
One more important question is there. It is posted by so many people. Is there any radiation risk allowance or any other benefits for the radiographers since they are working with atomic radiation radiology department? As many states and many private institutes also, some other institutes are giving. So many radiographers are not getting. As per AERB, what are the guidelines on this?
Yes, Mr. Bhagat, can you hear me or still with echo?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Let me tell you that ARB is not having any guidelines on the radiation allowance to the not only X-ray technologists, to any person who is working with the radiation. He may be in the even nuclear power plants where that tremendous compact source of nuclear energy is there. And so workers in nuclear power plant, workers who are involved in fabrication of the nuclear fuel, workers who are involved in radiotherapy where thousands of curies of source is used. Nowhere, such a special either, risk allowance or some sort of a benefits like, once in a year going for travel or, other terms of benefits are not there. And this is the requirement even of internationally. There is a requirement that internationally there is a scenario that no any special allowance is there, because working with radiation or working in X-ray department is as good as working in a very safe profession. So since you are working in a safe profession, which is accepted by the society, accepted by the family, accepted by the as an industry. Why there should be a benefit for some risk? Because there is no additional risk here. And the working with radiation, systematically the risk estimation has been carried out for the people who are working with radiation. It is compared with the risk in the industry where the safety norms are made, conventional industry where safety norms are made, like pharmaceutical industry or laundries, the industry where there is no hazard at all to the occupation, and that risk, the risk in the safe industry and risk in the radiation work is compared, and it is found to be equal, even much less than. Radiation risk is a delayed risk, may occur, may not occur, but in other professions the risk is very prompt, immediate risk is there in other occupations, and here the late risk we are not sure whether it will happen, like a superstar. So what I wanted to say that the personnel who are working in the radiation department, radiology department, are working in a very safe industry, provided they follow all the safety practices, and hence question of risk allowance or other benefits because of the radiation doesn't arise, and this is the international norms as such. So be happy, be safe, and protect yourself. That's all. You are working in a very safe profession.
Okay, sir.
Is it
Thank
okay,
you.
Mr. Shankar?
So,
Yeah.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Next question I have received from Mr. Rahul Hervetikar. He is asking that many unqualified and untrained persons are appointed in many diagnostic centers and private hospitals to operate X-ray, CT scan equipments. Is ARB can take any legal action for such centers or hospitals or the person who is operating the equipment?
You see, this is really a concern. I must admit that this is really a concern. Again, I am saying as compared to the other medical uses of ionizing radiation, like a cancer treatment or nuclear medicine, this problem we don't face. But I agree that several X-ray equipments are being operated by the unqualified person. So, but the ARB, yes, definitely can definitely take action if ARB knows that is happening. But let me add here. See, when ARB issues a license or registration to the X-ray equipment, that time we ensure that qualified X-ray technologist has to be there. If he is not there, then the radiological medical practitioner such as the radiologist, the doctor who has taken the training from the supplier or manufacturer of the equipment, to that effect he has to give us the undertaking that yes, I have undergone the training, safety training from the manufacturer or supplier of equipment. I understand the safety precautions. I know the protective equipments to be ensured, to be used during operation, and based on this undertaking, we give the license. So what I wanted to say that earlier X-ray technologist was a mandatory for operation of X-ray equipment, but today's requirement is that X-ray machine shall be operated only when the qualified X-ray technologist or medical practitioner or radiological medical practitioner is available. So always, doctors will be available there for general X-ray, general X-ray as well as fluoros as such. When you take a CT or image guided intervention procedures, yes, cardiologist is there. He only all the time operates. CT scan machine, again the radiologist and X-ray qualified technologist operates. So at least one person is always available in these things. And the case where neither medical practitioner is there, nor X-ray technologist is there, ARB doesn't give license, registration. And if we come to know that such and such equipment is operating without authorized medical practitioner or the X-ray technologist, yes, ARB can seal the machine. And that is why we conduct surprise inspections throughout the country. And we don't intimate that we are coming. We will have one day to go in the city, like we have several cities, including the northeast areas. We go in the morning, walk along the street, enter into the diagnosis centers wherever we look. First, we ask the ARB license. If it is not there, we ask the type approval of X-ray equipment. If not, we ask the medical practitioner who is there. And if we don't get anything from this, then we seal the machine. And we have done so many, more than I think 200 machines have been sealed like this. So we do take the enforcement action. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Yes, Mr. Guru. Is it okay?
If any radiologist is having his diagnostic center, can you hear me, sir?
Yes,
Hello?
I can hear you, Mr. Shankar. Yeah, I can hear you.
If any radiologist is having his diagnostic center and he appoints any unqualified person, like some places we see ward boys and other attendants also taking X-rays, is it allowed?
No,
Or
not
if we send a complaint on this issue, ARB can take action on such centers?
Yeah, ARB can definitely ask the explanation. See,
Okay.
as I said, when we give the license, we see that the radiologist is available. Okay, Now once radiologist is available, he gets the license. But in the center, whether he's telling, he's asking ward boy or he's asking some unqualified person to take the X-ray radiograph is wrong. Is not correct. He is not aware about the, because
Okay.
taking the radiological procedure or taking the radiological examination of the patient requires a good knowledge on radiation protection, requires a good knowledge on the machine, requires a good knowledge on wearing the protective clothing. So it's not that simple. If we are doing like this,
Okay,
then
sir.
we are unnecessarily exposing the person to the radiological risk. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Next question related to this only. Many unauthorized institutes are conducting diploma courses in radiology of short duration without any infrastructure under the name of now skill development. If this can be regulated by AERB?
You see, in this is again, I will say that a very gray area. And as I said, that even we also had, I remember advertisement I have seen where 10th standard is a minimum qualification prescribed by some, such agencies. And ARB has also written to them that not to do in this fashion. And so finally, since it is a gray area and it requires interministerial coordination, so we have already the meetings with the Ministry of Health for fixing or confirm or stipulating the minimum qualifications, syllabus, and the passing criteria. And I think that handbook also is ready with the Ministry of Health. Handbook 60, I feel, as such, is there. And it is taking some time. Once that book is published, then this will be enforced throughout the country. It will be enforced throughout the country. Till that time, yes, I think such an institution should be alerted that or should be desisted from conducting such a courses with such a lower qualification. So let us say that in few years we will have some uniform, streamlined qualification and training course.
We also on behalf of our associations, we also try to inform all such institutions names to the AERB, so that the AERB can write to the concerned institutes.
Because Mr. Sorry,
Yes,
I'm
sir.
just interrupting you. Here is it is not only the involvement of ARB, because ARB will give only the syllabus on, let us say, the radiation protection, safety, and other requirements. Now the syllabus on anatomy, physiology, syllabus on various techniques in diagnostic radiology, then syllabus on again the ethics. So several such aspects are there in such a training course, and that is how interministerial coordination is required, and Ministry of Health is working on it.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Next question is on RSO. Is nomination of RSO is mandatory in diagnostic radiology department? And what is the criteria to nominate RSO? And eligibility to become RSO? And what are the roles and responsibilities of the RSO?
You see, availability of RSO is a mandatory requirement. As per I will say that as per rule 20 of the atomic energy radiation protection rules. But again, this availability of RSO at particular radiation facility is based on the graded approach. Graded approach in the sense, I will just explain in a simple example. When there is, let us say, only the dental X-ray equipment, or when there is only a general radiography equipment with a DMD, or with, let us say, even the general fluoroscopy.
Hello? You want to say anything on that issue, sir? RSO? Hello? Hello?
Hello, yes. What I was to continue. So the general low risk X-ray equipments. So RSO is must, but it is not formal approval by the competent authority or by Chairman Atomic Energy Regulatory Board. What we do, we take the declaration from the either dentist or from the medical practitioner that he has understood the requirements of radiation protection and safety, and based on his declaration we approve, we give the registration. While when you take a CT machine or intervention or any other so there we ask for the training course where we ask for the training course training is there for 2 to 3 years for training is there for 2 to 3 years. Then that operator is required to register as a radiation professional with Atomic Energy Regulation Board. After registration as a radiation professional, then he is eligible for becoming RSO as such. So RSO requirement is a mandate. So in every radiation facility or every radiology department, only it has a graded approach. Where there is a very high potential of radiological risk, then formal approval of the RSO by the chairman, if it is a low hazard, then based on the declaration of the user, we give the user. So he acts as a RSO. So in a
And what is
nutshell,
the
RSO is a
eligibility
must.
for RSO, sir?
Pardon?
What is the eligibility, sir? Eligibility to become RSO.
You see, any radiological medical practitioner, that is a radiologist, is a cardiologist, or even the oncologist. So they are recognized as a RSO. They are eligible for becoming RSOs. When it comes to the X-ray technologies, then X-ray technologists should have undergone the training course of 10+2, and then the training course, and plus having experience in CT and IR for 2 years. For 2 to 3 years, once he has that experience and this qualification, then he can apply to ARB for registration as a radiation professional. Once he does that, after that, then employer nominates him as an RSO. So for X-ray technologists, only for CT and IR, there you require the experience and registration as a radiation professional before becoming RSO. Yeah.
And if radiographer is nominated as RSO, what will be his roles and responsibilities?
You see, the most important, radiation safety officer is a key person, very important person in the radiology department or in the department where the radiation sources are used. Because he is responsible for the safety of entire staff. He is responsible for the safety of the environment, as well as safety of the people who are visiting the hospital. So radiation safety officer should have a good radiation protection program in the hospital. He should see that the most important is that the design of the equipment as well as the layout of the room which houses the equipment is approved or is with the consent of Atomic Energy Regulatory Board, like a proper wall thicknesses, floor thicknesses, window thicknesses. Then he should then another responsibility of radiation safety officer is that he should maintain those records of all the staff who is working and inform them accordingly. Because that gives that that there is a safety culture, or there is a safely all the radiological procedures carried out. So everyone should be aware of the dose he is receiving, so that he has to inform. And another very important responsibility of the RSO is that the quality assurance, because as per the World Health Organization, quality assurance is a prime important for any radiological equipment, whether it is for cancer treatment like a radiotherapy machine, whether it is a nuclear medicine cameras, and of course the several radiological. Quality assurance has to be carried out. So he should ensure that authorized, accredited quality assurance agencies there. They are carrying out these quality assurance tests, like alignment of optical field, radiation field, minimum filtration, leakage levels, radiation levels in different locations, like where the public is waiting, where patient is waiting, then the control console. So all these measurements the RSO has to ensure. Then he has to conduct the periodic training courses. He may have to modify the work procedures of the training courses. Similarly, he has to, in case of any untoward accident happens, even let us say the patient develops the radiogenic tumor during the intervention procedure. So all he should maintain the record and he should inform. So he is I will say that the boss in the department for radiation protection and safety. And important is that he should maintain the healthy safety culture in the department. Safety first.
Okay.
Of the yourself, of the patient, and then accordingly the plan to be made as such. So he's a very responsible person.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you, sir. If any negligence on radiation safety occurred in the department, who is the responsible person? Radiographer, RSO, or head of the department, or the management?
You see, whenever such a negligence happens, then definitely the licensee to whom the license has been issued and employer are responsible, and ARB will carry out the investigation through radiation safety officer. You see, many times RSO may not be responsible. For example, RSO wants that let us say the protective accessory has to be there, mobile protective barrier has to be there. RSO has performed his duty, but because of some reason, head of the department or employer is not procuring that. So then he is responsible
Yes,
for
sir.
that. So employer or head of the department is responsible for providing entire medication safety infrastructure to the staff, to the RSO. RSO has to advise him. RSO has to guide him. How effectively the radiation protection can be there in the department, how safety culture can be there in the department, and whatever the infrastructure is that they have to provide. If they don't provide, and RSO writes to Atomic Energy Regulatory Board or any other authority about this, yes, we will look into this. But investigation will be through RSO.
Okay, sir. In such incidents, if RSO writes to the AERB, can AERB give protection to the RSO for any legal matter?
I think I cannot very directly answer this because we see all depends upon the investigation. Now, when we carry out the investigation, and if you find that RSO has performed his duty, and he has written evident documents that these are the things are there, why to take action against RSO? But for example, there is a, let us say the cath lab or a CT scan equipment is there. Its design features are not activated. It doesn't give an alarm when the preset value of the radiation increases. I think RSO is responsible. RSO has to keep aware the entire staff about the safe operation of the or some excessive exposure case happens, which is reported. Generally, we get the cases. Then, if you find that there is a lapse in working condition or lapse in safety procedures, then definitely RSO should be appointed. So it depends upon investigation, whom against the action is to be. See, taking action is not important, I think. Important is to have a adhering to and adopting the safety procedures.
Okay,
Yeah.
sir.
Yes, please.
Next question will be, if I have to complain about any unsafe radiation procedures in radiology department, then whom should I contact? A radiographer can contact, and how they can contact, and is it kept confidentially? Confidentiality of this complaint will be maintained by AERB.
You see, any complaint in the interest of radiation safety, in the interest of radiation protection, can always be made to Atomic Energy Regulatory Board. In fact, I myself is a grievance officer for Atomic Energy Regulatory Board. You can visit our website. There is a grievance portal is there, and there is a separate contact number is there. See, as well as email is there. You can always send the grievance through the email. Then we have an electronic licensing online procedure system that is called ELORA. In that ELORA also this provision is there. You can raise your concerns. And important thing that you need not declare your identity. It can be anonymous. Because the important thing is that somewhere unsafe practices are going on, and the spirit is that we wanted to rectify that. We have to improve that. So declaring the name or declaring the details is not necessary. Only thing is that it should be related to the that the situation endangers the radiation safety of the patient, staff, and people. Is it okay?
So yes, sir. So I think all radiographers can make use of this grievance, send the grievances to the AERB. So Sonawade sir assured us he will take all grievances of radiographers. Next question will be, sir, can AERB do radiological safety monitoring or audit of diagnostic radiology units of all hospitals or diagnostic center every year by constituting a committee of RSO and radiographers from different institutes for different institute, like it is done by Medical Council of India or other regulatory bodies to get inspection of other radiology departments? So one hospital's team from different institutes, we can form a one committee, and that committee can go and instruct about the regulatory aspects regarding that radiation safety? Is it possible, sir?
Um, put up my view on this. First of all,
Yes, sir.
this is also one of the very important, like whether the inspection, so that by delegating by inspection of X-rays, we can cover several departments in the country. The formation of committees. Inspection of X-rays. What I will like to add here again is that we follow the graded approach again. Committees here again. See, the inspection requirement for dental X-ray equipment or for general equipment is not that stringent as compared to the inspection requirement for CT scan or intervention. Okay, so there is a graded
Yes, sir.
There are some X-ray equipment which are at a low risk end. There are some equipment which are at a high risk end. So at low risk end, there is no proper frequency of the inspection, even the worldwide.
Hello. 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 Sonawade sir. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Hello. Yes,
Can
sir.
you hear me?
Yes, sir.
So ARB does carry out the inspections, in a what we call that in a sample basis or on a random basis. And at present, we feel that we have a separate directorate of regulatory inspection in ARB. They have the annual plan for inspections of all radiation facilities. And it is true that every equipment cannot be included, cannot be
Yes,
ensured
sir.
that it is inspected by ARB as such. And this will be the good suggestion. And we are working on that in this direction again through the Director General of Health Services. Because they have a Clinical Establishment Act in various states. Then we have a state health authorities. And wherever the health state authorities, there are district administrative authorities and the central authorities go for inspection. So that time they can even do the inspection of X-ray equipment also. That coordination is going on. Another thing is that, this National Accreditation Board for hospitals under Quality Council of India, NABL also is conducting several audits of the diagnostic centers. And this audit also includes the safety aspects of, ARB's safety aspects as such. So interministerial coordination, then NABL inspections, as well as ARB own inspections are continuing, and we will see in future. Your suggestion is good that whether, because there are many issues due to disagreement, conflict of interest can be
Yes,
there.
sir.
One of the important things.
Yes, sir.
And then some sort of issues will be there. We'll work on that. We have taken your
Okay, sir.
suggestion.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Yes, please.
Next question will be whether AERB has any guidelines to deal with now COVID-19 infection in radiology department.
No, ARB, in fact, ARB has no guidelines on this. One minute.
Yes, sir. Yes. Take
See,
your own time.
can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Can you hear me? Yeah. No,
Yes,
see,
sir. Yes.
ARB has a guidelines only on radiation protection and safety of a personal, patient and public in the hospital. Now, and principles of radiation protections are totally different. And we do not have a guidelines, especially on COVID-19. But I must say that the principles which are used in radiation protection, like time, distance, and shielding, known important factors, same applies to even the COVID-19 also. We have to spend a less. Definitely a proper shielding, make a mask, and this one will be there as such. And
Yes.
at the same time, that we should keep away from that. Less time, keep away, and mask and product access is also there. Only difference is that
Yes, sir.
in case of COVID-19 infection, it is a very, very immediate risk. While radiation protection is a delayed risk, we do not know whether it will occur or not. So,
Okay, sir.
but important thing what we have to see is that COVID-19 patient is having a respiratory issues, and whenever he
Yes, sir.
sneezes, he some that respiratory droplets fall on the surface, on the the patient
Yes.
coats, maybe on the parts of the machine, and there can be a highly likelihood of infection is there. So whatever the guidelines of the government which have already been given, like through Ayush, this app is given, then through Central Ministry of Health, state government has given. The X-ray technologist or any staff who is working in the hospital is at a high risk from COVID-19. So he should always, they should also have N95 mask he should wear. There should be deep cleaning of all radiological equipment and accessories. Similarly, the chest stand, there should be deep cleaning with the chemicals like PCA, H2O2, as per the government guideline, should be there as such. And since the patients are crowded, so X-ray technologist has to be with them. So only one technologist should be available in the department. He should give priority to the older, COVID-19 patients, who are waiting in the lobby. And then patient should have a mask. Similarly, before entering into the X-ray room or the department, they should clean the hands very thoroughly. So these are all general precautions have to be applied very diligently and with the precautions. And my advice is that try to use a portable X-ray equipment, because that keeps minimum distance between the patient and the officer, almost 2 to 3 meters. And
Yes.
for chest X-ray, whatever the EV, low voltage and MES is required, is enough in the portal X-ray for lung or for chest X-ray. So instead of bringing the patient into the department, you can have a portable X-ray with a proper, again, surrounding, appropriate precautions. There are some vehicle mounted X-ray equipment are coming up. So we should use a judgment, because finally the radiation protection is judiciously to be applied. But as far as COVID is concerned, so we have to see that these precautions are there, hand cleaning, then this total cleaning of the patient coats, chest stand, after every patient it has to be done. And stagger the timing of the
Yes,
staff.
thank you, sir.
Not that one or two patients should be there. So these are the government guidelines one can follow.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Now we have crossed our time limit, sir. It is now 1 o'clock. I will take only last final question. And before that, I want to inform all the participants that all questions will be noted and sent to Dr. Sonawne, sir. And we will try to meet on some other day and answer all your questions. I will definitely pass your questions to Sonawne, sir. And last question will be, last means it is not last. After that, I have kept one question for Sonawne, sir. This question is, due to the COVID-19 portable X-ray requests are coming to radiology departments in huge numbers. Many hospitals are still using conventional portable X-ray units, darkroom processing and CR units for this. As a radiographers, we feel it is better to use DR equipments for this. Sir, what will be your opinion and advice to all hospitals and managements?
You see, my advice to the hospital and management and to all the technologists is this, that must follow the procedures on precautions to be followed during COVID-19 against this virus as such. As I said earlier, like, sanitization, wearing N95 mask, cleaning all the time, restricting the visitors, etc. That is there. As far as equipment is concerned, so always it is preferable to have mobile or protective X-ray equipment, or there should be exclusive dedicated X-ray room facility for COVID-19 patient, and this requires a very frequent disinfection, because as you know, the COVID-19 virus can stay 2 to 3 years on the stainless steel or plastic. So we have to be very careful in cleaning such a that accessories and equipment which are there as such. So one can have a dedicated X-ray room, not that general radiology department to be open for COVID-19. We maintain one room for that. It may be X-ray room, it may be ultrasound room, and portable X-ray is always the a good option. I mean, because you keep a distance, and at the same time, it has the exposure protocols and parameters which are complying with the chest and X-ray examination as such. So it is some sort of a judgment of the management. If they don't have portable or mobile X-ray, they can have a dedicated facility where easy infestation before entering. As I said, that there is sanitization, mask wearing is must. Gloves important are very important for this one, that use and throw type of gloves. So these precautions are important. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Final question will be, what are the biggest challenges AERB is having right now for the diagnostic radiology, and how your team will overcome to it?
What I will say that I must say that there are not some challenges, I will say, because we can always overcome many challenges, but there are issues, and these issues requires deep deliberation or proper action as such. These issues requires interministerial coordination. Such issues requires even the support from the organization like SIR, Indian Radiological Imaging Services, Indian Radiological Imaging Association of Radiological Association. Because these are all the collaborative and cooperative efforts we have to bring together, and this should be done. So as I said, these are the issues, and this should be done. And what issues I find important, the streamlining the qualification, training course, and passing criteria of the examination. Number two, incorporating the syllabus of radiation protection and safety as the medical students curriculum, that is in the final year of post-graduation MBBS, and a thorough syllabus at the post-graduation level of medicine, like MD for radiology. This we are undertaking with MCR. Third is monitoring of the patient dose. When some patient undergoes CT examination or undergoes the image guided procedure, he should know how much dose he has received. And that patient recording and monitoring throughout the country, like we have a, let us say, for example, the Aadhaar card. Unique number is unique. When some patient undergoes the CT examination in Nashik, same patient takes the CT examination next day in Mumbai. After that, he goes to see Mumbai. The track of the dose he has received at different places, even though the requirement is. So the nation-wise patient dose monitoring and recording is also the important issue. So like this, 3-4 issues are there where we require the good coordination at national. We are working on it national.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, please.
Now we can conclude our this session. Before concluding, what is your final words to the all audiences and radiographers?
I will say that safety is yours. It's safety of the patient, safety of the people, safety of the organization. So follow the safety precautions. Never compromise the radiation protection, even though there is a huge workload. Adhere to the safety culture. If you are safe, everyone is safe. Respect X-rays, respect radiation, and enjoy the benefits of the being. That is what I would like to just say. And I must wish a very safe and healthy life during this pandemic, and safe radiological procedures for you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you once again. Now I call Mr. Vilas Badane to give the vote of thanks for this event. Mr. Vilas Badane, please join us. If you are unable to hear some part of this conversation, it will be posted in our Facebook page, and then you can view it again. That time you will get the audio voice clearly, because I have received voice for the full session. So in the recorded video you will get voice. You can hear it again whenever you get time, and forward it to all the radiographers. Thank you. Vilas sir, you can give vote of thanks.
माझा आवाज येतोय?
Yes, मोठा येतो, चांगला येतो.
शब्दांनी आभार मानू कसे तुमचे, अजन्म आमच्यावरी ऋण हे तुमचे.
जरी आयुष्य हे दरी खोऱ्यांचे, आम्हा सदा लाभले साह्य हे तुमचे। दोस्तों, इस फेसबुक लाइव हमारे सबसे पसंदीदा डायनामिक एंड एवरी टाइम जो हमारे संगठना के पीछे खड़े रहते हैं, आशीर्वाद रूपी मार्गदर्शन करते हैं। ऐसे हमारे प्यारे गुरुवर्य जिन्होंने बहुत ही वैल्यूबल टाइम निकाल के अपने को जो मार्गदर्शन किया है, ऐसे हमारे आदरणीय डॉक्टर केयू सोनवणे सर का जिनका पसंदीदा सब्जेक्ट है रेडिएशन सेफ्टी एंड प्रोटेक्शन, उस विषय पे उसके लिए मैं सोसाइटी ऑफ इंडियन रेडियो और रेडियोग्राफर्स एसोसिएशन ऑफ महाराष्ट्र की तरफ से बहुत आभारी हूँ। उसके बाद में मैं जाना चाहूंगा हमारे जिन्होंने आज हमें वेलकम एड्रेस दिया, ऐसे हमारे प्यारे मित्र सोसाइटी ऑफ इंडियन रेडियोग्राफर्स के अध्यक्ष एवं SIR के चेयरमैन आदरणीय त्रिलोकीनाथ जी मिश्रा, उनका भी मैं इस मंच से बहुत धन्यवाद प्रकट करता हूँ जिन्होंने इस प्रोग्राम का आयोजन किया, जो हमेशा कुछ ना कुछ नया टेक्निकल सोचते हैं। वो हमारे प्यारे मित्र सारे रेडियोग्राफर्स को अच्छा लाइव इंटरव्यू के माध्यम से तोहफा देने वाले ऐसे हमारे परम मित्र नेशनल कोऑर्डिनेटर SIR के यंग एंड डायनामिक एंड इंस्पायरेशन पर्सन श्री शंकर जी भगत, उनका भी मैं इस मंच से बहुत ऋण व्यक्त करता हूं। जिनके बिना ये सफल नहीं हो सकता, वो ऐसे सभी आज इस छोटे से समय में सब रेडियोग्राफर्स अराउंड 100 and 110 रेडियोग्राफर्स पार्टिसिपेट किए, उनका भी मैं इस मंच से धन्यवाद कहता हूं। उसके बाद में मैं कुछ और दो चीजें कहने वाला हूं। दोस्तों, आने वाले दिनों में हमारा ऐसा भी प्रयास है कि आजकल वर्कलोड और कोरोना की वजह से जो डिप्रेशन और जो कुछ मानसिक स्वास्थ्य खराब होने की चिंताएं सबको सता रही, उसके लिए मुंबई के वेल नोन साइकेट्रिस्ट के साथ हमारी बात चल रही है। उनका भी अगले वाले दिनों में नेक्स्ट चरण में उनका भी एक लेक्चर रखा जाएगा। कुछ मार्गदर्शन वाले हिप्नोटिज्म्स हमारे पास उनके साथ बात चल रही है, वो भी हमको मार्गदर्शन करने के लिए तैयार है। तो आप सभी इसी माध्यम से हमें जुड़े रहिए। सोसाइटी ऑफ इंडियन रेडियोग्राफर्स आपका सदा ऋणी रहेगा। फिर एक बार मैं विलास बदाने आप सबका स्वास्थ्य का और सेहत का स्वस्थ के लिए शुभकामनाएं व्यक्त करता हूं। स्टे होम, स्टे सेफ, मेंटेन सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग, बट वी आर medical paramedics, so we work with all safety measurements. Thank you very much.
थैंक यू विलास सर, थैंक यू टू ऑल ऑफ द व्यूअर्स, सभी व्यूअर्स को धन्यवाद। और हम डिक्लेयर करते कि ये सेशन यहीं पर खत्म हो गया। थैंक यू वंस अगेन। प्लीज शेयर दिस लिंक टू ऑल योर फ्रेंड्स।